everyone, it's Nini. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to take a step away from makeup and face paint and talk about true crime. I'm not only a makeup junkie, I have been a true crime junkie since I was a teenager. I used to check out true crime videos from the library on VHS tapes. I mean, that's how far back my love of true crime goes. I actually studied criminal justice, but then I decided I didn't think I could work in that field. I'm an empath and I cry very easily. If I see somebody crying or hear about emotional stories, it touches me. And I just didn't think I'd be strong enough to be there for victims. I realized it was more of an interest and not something that I could make a career out of, but it still fascinates me, especially the psychology part of true crime. Like, why do people do the things that they do? Why do people act the way that they do? Eventually, I do want to start covering true crime cases on my channel. I don't have the time for it right now. For now, I thought I would just talk about my favorite true crime YouTubers, and I have a very huge unpopular opinion when it comes to true crime on YouTube. I do not like Sarian true crime videos. I like Sarian. I love her. I love her personality. I own 2 of her nail polish over there. I think she's beautiful. The makeup in true crime, it's not appealing to me. And you think it would be because I'm such a makeup lover. I came across a video recently. She was talking about the same thing. It seems to be lack of compassion for the victims and the families in those videos. And I'm not trying to say people who cover true crime and put their makeup on at the same time. I'm not saying they're not compassionate and that they don't care. It doesn't really come across in the videos. When you're making funny faces or laughing as you go through it, not to pick on Bailey, but to be like, oh, suspicious. It takes away from like the victims, what the families went through. And this is just my opinion. The great thing about YouTube and the internet in general is if you don't like something, you can watch something else. I actually unsubscribed from Bailey, I think 2 months ago. I just wasn't watching her true crime videos, and then I wanted to stay on for her makeup videos, but she really doesn't do them anymore. I just couldn't get into how she covered the true crime. I am still subscribed to a couple who do makeup and talk about true crime, but if you show some compassion to the victims and their families, I'm still able to get a sense that they acknowledge that this is something serious that they're talking about, and I feel that's lacking in some of the videos. So I am subscribed to a bunch of true crime people. I just thought I'd pick out my favorite ones to talk about, and I'll of course link all of their channels below. The first one I want to talk about is Trace Evidence Podcast by Stephen Pacheco. I love his voice. He goes in depth into these cases. The amount of research that this guy must do for his videos blows me away. He'll cover the case in detail. He'll cover the theories, and then he'll talk about what he thinks went on. I don't think he's ever done a solved case. I think they're all unsolved. You can tell he has a heart for it. If you have any information on the case, he always includes who to contact. He's never on camera, except I think he's done a couple of videos where he did like Q&As and then he was on camera and you saw his face. He's not in the thumbnails. He's not sitting in front of a camera talking to you. It's all just a voiceover. He is dedicated. He's not hopping on a trend of, oh, true crime is popular, I'm gonna hop on this bandwagon. No, you can tell that true crime is something that has been in his heart for a long time, and that's one reason I like him.
I guess it becomes a matter of what you consider more likely. That someone who abducted Johnny also abducted Jean, that they were similar crimes executed by different people, or that it all ties back to some kind of weird satanic parties. I tend to follow Occam's razor and go with the simplest solution being the most likely, and in this case, I simply find it very difficult to believe that there is not a connection between the abductions of Jean Martin and Johnny Gosch. What that connection is, who was responsible, and whether or not we ever get those answers remains a mystery.
The next one is Brooke McKenna. She is just a sweetheart. She has got the sweetest voice.
You are such a genuine gem. Thank you for clicking on my video.
You can tell she cares about these victims and that she feels for them. She's cried in several videos because she's just so touched by it. And she covers some cases that you don't hear a lot of other people talk about. She'll do videos on some that I've never heard of. I think she's really good at giving a voice to people who need it and bringing attention to cases that you don't hear a lot about.
Even if she didn't know they were going to be murdered, she planned to rob them, and she admitted that. Who could do that to someone you see as your grandma and grandpa? It truly, truly makes me mad, and I hope that Carol and Reggie are wherever they are, wherever you believe they are, together, holding hands and living that peaceful life they deserved here on earth.
The next one is Cant Swim, otherwise known as JCS Psychology. He's pretty huge. I think his last video, last time I saw it, had like 40 million views on it. This goes back to that psychology part of true crime that interests me. He breaks down interrogation videos and talks about human behavior. Like he did one where he showed how somebody who really was innocent of a crime, when he's interrogated and accused of it, how he responded to it, as opposed to somebody who really was guilty of a crime and how they responded to being accused of it, and compared the two. They're ones that I'm sitting there just like, wow. Definitely if you like the psychology part of true crime and just human behavior in general. Why do we lie? How would we normally respond to something? I wish he did more often. I just eat his videos up.
I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean...
Notice how she now goes on to over-explain things that don't require an explanation, and weren't even inquired about. It's a clear-cut indication of hyperarousal and a derivative of TMT, also known as terror management theory. The suspect will go off on unrelated tangents as means for gaining momentary relief. Going into detail about trivial things affords her a brief escape from the terrifying reality eventuating before her. This is a very common occurrence in interrogations where the suspect is facing serious charges, and psychiatrists believe it to be a subconscious coping mechanism.
The next one I want to talk about is Danielle Helen. She's another one who you can tell just feels for victims and is dedicated to finding answers. You can tell she does a lot of research to dig deep into things. She does talk to family members of victims sometimes and gets information directly from them. She's another one who's broken down crying a couple times in videos, and I love seeing that. I love seeing people who care so much about other people's pain that they feel it. That's just heartwarming to me. She's great to listen to. She just seems like a good person, and she has so much emotion involved into these cases. If the police are not doing their job, you can tell she's genuinely frustrated over that. You can just tell that she cares.
Every single thing about the wound itself does not line up with what is most commonly seen in self-inflicted gunshot wounds. And what's most unfortunate, like I said, is that the medical examiner, the original one, literally pointed out all of those different things, said that it appeared it was not a close range shot and it was from further away, said all of these different things, yet somehow still came to a completely non-matching conclusion. After this video was made, I received the most amazing email from Bridget talking about how supportive you guys were. And I have not cried that hard in such a long time, because it just really made me so happy that you guys are here doing this with me, because I can only do so much myself. But to know that you guys went out of your way to make donations to the family. You guys even asked that the vigil be virtual, because people from all over the world, you guys from all over the world, wanted to be there for the vigil. And she said she'd never experienced anything like that before. It means the absolute world to me and to Bridget. She said that was the first time in a long time that she ever had hope.
The next one is Kendall Rae. She's another big YouTuber. I had first started following her for makeup and beauty videos that she used to do way back in the day. She also has thin hair, which I love seeing that when other people have thin hair. I'm like, yeah, thin hair unite. But I stopped following her because she started to do some, I think it was a lot of alien stuff. I just kind of lost interest. So I unsubscribed for a bit, but then I started coming across her true crime videos, and she pretty much just does true crime now. She does cover some that they're not necessarily crime videos, but they are interesting stories. She covered the gal that got burned by McDonald's coffee. I never knew how horrific that actually was. That poor woman who burned herself, it's a really interesting video to watch. The light that she shed on them. Her way of talking about the cases really keeps my attention. The best part about it is she usually sits in a chair, and she's got dogs and cats, and usually one of them is sitting on the arms or behind her or something, and it's just so cute to see.
And at this point, Stella was in so much pain that she was starting to go into shock. So Chris drove as fast as he could to the next closest hospital, which is Northside Presbyterian. And Stella was admitted 45 minutes after initially being burned. And as soon as the ER doctor saw how bad her burns were, they were horrific, he immediately called in the burn specialist. And he was shocked too. I mean, her injuries were far worse than anyone really could have imagined. And the doctors weren't even sure if Stella would survive.
The last one I'm going to talk about is Dr. Todd Grant. Is it Grande or Grand?
Oh, this is Dr. Grande.
Grande.
His question is, can I analyze the case of Elizabeth
Stop.
Wethofer? Just to remind
Stop.
you, I'm not diagnosing you could be happening in a situation like this.
He is an actual psychologist. Actually, he's not. I love how I said that so confidently. As I was editing this, I realized he's a licensed professional counselor in mental health and a licensed chemical dependency counselor, and he has a PhD in counseling. He also is a professor. So he's still very highly educated, but he is not a psychologist. My bad. He not only covers some true crime cases, but he'll cover some current topics, like he's talked about masks, vaccines, things that are topical. His humor, it slips in there a little bit, and you don't expect it because he kind of talks in a monotone where it's just the same level the whole way through. So when he throws in a joke, it's a very dry humor, and it's just, you know, he'll talk with it in that same tone, and it's just funny. His input on cases is very interesting to me. I respect it because he is educated. He does put in a warning at the beginning of his videos that he hasn't analyzed these people in person. He's just how does he say it? He's speculating on what may be going on. It still needs to see his input.
He operated the accelerator and the brake with an 18-inch ice pick. So he was sitting on the passenger seat, holding the steering wheel, and pushing the pedals with this ice pick. This made the quality of his driving almost as bad as the average New Jersey driver. This reminds me of the 1993 movie Jurassic Park, when Jeff Goldblum's character, Dr. Ian Malcolm, said that life finds a way. Alcohol finds a way. The moral of the story is that dinosaurs and alcohol are both things that most people should not interact with. Elphick appears to pretend to pass out. It was like slow motion. She conveniently passed out with her head on her purse. Elphick starts charging Ukenta like she's moving toward her, all the while screaming, "Get her away from me." So she was the one closing the distance, but she wanted Ukenta to get away from her. Geometry and logic don't seem to be Elphick's strong suit.
Those are some of my favorite true crime YouTubers. My favorite way to come across new YouTubers, whatever the topic is that they cover, is by hearing other people shout them out. So I'd love to hear if you have any favorite true crime YouTubers. I'd love to check them out. That's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.